It is not acceptable for India to continue financing this war by purchasing the oil from Russia. People will be shocked to learn that India is basically tied with China in purchasing Russian oil.
Trump's top aide, Stephen Miller, launched a scathing attack on India for its continued purchase of Russian oil, claiming it helps finance Moscow's war on Ukraine. Appearing on Fox News, Miller said, "It's not acceptable for India to keep funding this war by buying Russian oil."
So President Trump, he wants a tremendous relationship and has had always a tremendous relationship with India and the Prime Minister. But we need to get real about dealing with the financing of this war. So President Trump, all options are on the table to deal diplomatically, financially, and otherwise with the ongoing war in Ukraine so we can achieve peace and end the war that the Democrat Party and Joe Biden are responsible for.
He further added that India is now nearly tied with China as one of the biggest buyers of Russian crude, calling it an astonishing fact. The remarks follow renewed pressure from Donald Trump on India, as his campaign signals a tougher foreign policy line, even against key allies like New Delhi. Despite U.S. tariff slap and the penalty threat, India seems to be unworried about anything as it continued to maintain their Russian oil purchases. On Friday, a 25% duty was imposed on Indian goods, following the country's acquisition of Russian military equipment and energy resources. Trump has additionally warned of possible 100% tariffs on U.S. imports from nations buying Russian oil, unless Moscow negotiates a significant peace agreement with Ukraine. Miller balanced his criticism by acknowledging Trump's tremendous relationship with Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
So what he said very clearly is that it is not acceptable for India to continue financing this war by purchasing the oil from Russia. People will be shocked to learn that India is basically tied with China in purchasing Russian oil. That's an astonishing fact. India portrays itself as being one of our closest friends in the world, but they don't accept our products.
On July 30th, U.S. President Donald Trump imposed a 25% tariff on Indian products, whilst issuing warnings about possible sanctions regarding India's acquisition of Russian weaponry and petroleum. Following the tariff declaration, Trump severely criticized New Delhi's relationship with Moscow, describing both nations as dead economies and explicitly stating his indifference towards Indo-Russian relations. Trump indicated his willingness to enforce substantial tariffs, potentially up to 100%, on imports from nations that maintain their oil purchases from Russia, unless Russia negotiates a peace agreement with Ukraine. India reacted firmly to U.S. President Donald Trump's latest tariff decision.
India and the United States share a comprehensive global strategic partnership anchored in shared interests, democratic values, and robust people-to-people ties. This partnership has weathered several transitions and challenges. We remain focused on the substantive agenda that the two countries have committed to and are confident that the relationship will continue to move forward.